Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. First things first, I just want to say thank you guys for the support on the last video. I definitely wasn't expecting it, as it was my first NFL video. I was kind of expecting for you guys to kind of just, not really pay too much attention to that video, because I know I post 2K videos normally, but obviously I'm starting to make some new content. With that being said, we're getting the second video going. So today we're going to do Redskins Prove It or Lose It. So basically, if you don't know what I mean by that, basically all I'm trying to say is that any player that I feel like is in a make or break season, I'm going to talk about them. So first things first, I got 3 players that I want to talk about, and then at the end I'm going to look at what you guys are saying to me on Twitter and kind of touch bases on those players if I didn't talk about them in this video. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right into the first player. So I definitely have to start off with Jordan Reed. Although Jordan Reed is under contract for 3 more years, I really feel like this season is the one that's going to determine Jordan's career. Not necessarily like his whole NFL career, but his career with the Washington Redskins. We've not seen the Jordan Reed we were expecting to see after his breakout 2015 season. In that season, he put up 952 yards and 11 touchdowns. There was a point that I was putting him in the same conversations with Gronk and Travis Kelce as the best tight end in the league. Injuries, which were mainly concussions, he also had a toe injury. Those have really kept him from reaching those levels of productivity again, as over the next 3 seasons, he'd missed 17 games and only put up 147 catches, 1,455 yards and 10 touchdowns. Don't get me wrong, he's still a solid tight end and definitely still above average, but when you get paid a 5-year $46 million contract, you aren't being paid to just be a solid tight end. You are being paid to be the best. The reason I feel like this year is going to be his make or break season is actually pretty obvious when you look at the details of the contract. After this year, he's going to be a 30-year-old tight end looking to make $8.25 million, but would only be $1.8 million in dead cap. So when you factor in the instability of his health, the fact that he's going to be 30 at the beginning of the 2020 season, it's not really hard to see the Redskins making a move from Reed, either by cutting him or trading him. As a fan, I love Jordan Reed, and I'm 1,100,000% rooting for him, but with him being our best offensive weapon for years, it's hard to be that weapon when you're not on the field. We simply can't afford to keep paying him as the 3rd highest tight end if he's going to keep hanging around that 500 receiving yards every season and only putting up 2 touchdowns in each of the past 2 seasons. So like I said before, when you factor in his contract and the recent play and the fact that he's missing a lot of games, this might be his last year as a Redskin. The second player I wanted to talk about definitely has to be Chris Thompson, and this one is actually pretty obvious. I chose to talk about Jordan Reed first because he's going to be perfectly fine whether the Redskins decide to keep him or cut him. Teams will look at how valuable he could be if he's healthy, look at his past play, and likely overpay for him in the same way we did so that we could keep him. Chris Thompson is in the exact same scenario, but also very different. He's a 5'8", 195 running back that hasn't played a full season since 2016. He was having a breakout year in 2017 as he had 294 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 39 catches for 510 yards and 4 more touchdowns. And he also emerged as a great pass blocker from the backfield. His huge breakout year was cut short in the game against the New Orleans Saints as he broke his leg, and that would be the last time he'd be on the field for that season. He was able to make a return in time for the 2018 year, but once again, he only played in 10 games as he put up 178 rushing yards, no touchdowns, but he also had 41 catches, 268 yards, and a single touchdown. Let me remind you that in 2017, at the time that he got hurt, he was leading the Washington Redskins in rushing yards and receiving yards. So for him to go to that, to be minimalized even in his time, because he played 10 games in 2017 and then he also played 10 games in 2018, and the numbers are drastically different. Heading into a contract year, there are 2 really big questions. Can he stay healthy, and is he even the exact same player he was before that 2017 injury? He's one of the better pass blocking running backs in the league and is great catching the ball out of the backfield, so no matter what happens this year, he will hold some value, but he's going to be able to need to show that he can stay healthy so that he can stay a Redskin. In the 4th round of the 2019 draft, the Redskins made a move that shocked a lot of fans by taking Bryce Love, but it actually makes a lot of sense. All of the uncertainties with Chris Thompson, you draft a guy with a similar skill set but also have higher potential, and you give Chris the year to kind of make that decision for you. With Adrian Peterson aging, Darius Geis returning from an ACL tear, and newly drafted Bryce Love, this might be the last chance for Chris Thompson to show what he has in him, but depending on the development of Darius Geis and Bryce Love, the Redskins may just decide to move on without him even if he has a great year. So the last player I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about is going to be Doctson. With the 22nd pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Josh Doctson, wide receiver, TCU. I'm just gonna say it, man. I wish we could get that one back. In the 3 years since being drafted, Doctson has posted career totals of 81 catches for 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. Those are numbers we were kind of hoping that we would get put up from him in a single season. Today is April 30th, and the Redskins have until this Friday to be able to make the decision whether they want to pick up his 5th-year option or not. In the case of Josh Doctson, when you look at the talent, I'm not really sure why things aren't working out. With Jordan Reed and Chris Thompson, you look at injuries and it tells you the full story, but that's not really the case here. He was battling an ankle injury throughout his rookie season, but outside of that, it hasn't really been anything significant. He's played 16 and 15 games for each of the past 2 seasons, and he's shown the flashes of his first-round potential, but he just doesn't show enough. You get the catches like the game-winning catch on 2 defenders that was actually a pass interference against the Seattle Seahawks, but then you see 2 catches for 26 yards on the box score of another game, and you kind of find yourself asking, is this even the same person? In all reality, our offense is probably just a horrible fit, which has minimalized him as a receiver because it doesn't show his strength, but it glares his weaknesses. We have a quick, get the ball out of your hands fast, short to intermediate passing game, and Josh is really a 50-50 ball receiver. All the times that he's shown those flashes, they've all been in that 50-50 scenario. Go deep, the quarterback throws it up, and you let your wide receiver go make a play. We take our occasional deep shots, but we haven't had a quarterback that's really willing to take those shots. Kirk Cousins has said himself that in games while he was here in DC, at times he played it safe because of the ongoing contract talk. And we all know Alex Smith has really been the poster boy for a game managing quarterback. With all of that being said, Josh obviously hasn't been in the right situation, and I feel like both sides might just be better off moving on. At the same time though, after drafting Dwayne Haskins, our offense might become a better fit for Doctson, and he could show something that we haven't seen yet. 2 other players I was going to add to this list, but I just really didn't feel like it was like that much in depth, were Monte Nicholson and Josh Norman. So just to touch on them quickly, with Monte, you know, he's still young and he has 2 more years on his contract, and because of the fact that he was drafted in the 4th round, I feel like we're going to stick with him regardless of what happens this year, and he's going to have the opportunity to, if he's not the starter, at least be the backup and stick around on the roster for a while. And with Josh Norman, I feel like his play really has been solid. It's just the fact that the other defensive backs on his team haven't really been able to play up to that same level, and so when you're one cornerback and you're the only one that's really like consistent, you lock down the whole side of your field, teams don't target you, you kind of get hidden because you don't get the statistics, and your other defensive backs are getting ate up the whole time you're on the field, so you don't stand out at all. So everyone that I talked about in the video was actually all of the people that responded to me on Twitter. It actually ended up being the exact same players that I was already doing for the video, so I think that we all have a pretty exact same area of the players that we think really need to make or break this season. So if you guys enjoyed, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and if you have any recommendations on any other videos that you want to make me see, if you want to see me make a video about your favorite team or anything like that, just let me know in the comment section below. It has been truly Sirks. Thank you for watching once again, and I'm out, man. Peace.